guys, gals, and non-binary pals, the main character here, and you have to like me, with rhyme signatures, the nerdiest music review this side of imagining if protagonists just died in the first scene. And today we're going to be doing a review of the new Will Wood album, the 2024 edit of The Normal Album. Back in the halcyon days of December 2020, when I was but a wee sliver of a man, I had just finished putting the finishing touches to my Album of the Year list, and I was very happy with it. I had immortalised it within the hallowed halls of my brain space, and it was never to be touched again. Then in January 2021, a single man ruined everything for me. That man was William Wood, and the album responsible for throwing my carefully laid plans completely out of whack was the nonchalantly titled The Normal Album. Now, I forget completely how it came to me. It might have been something as innocent and casual as a, "Oh hey dude, you like weird music, try this out," from a casual acquaintance maybe. But however it came to me, it doesn't really matter, does it? You see, The Normal Album picked me up, shook me around, catapulted my brain into the shadow realm, and pulled me back down through the mantle of the earth, and held me face to face with the folly of my Album of the Year decisions from 2020. Yes, it was that good, and to this day it is my most played album of the 2020s, and is only shortly followed by my Album of the Year of 2022, Wood's follow-up to the Normal Album, In Case I Make It. In case I hadn't made things abundantly clear at this point, I had swiftly become a screeching Will Wood fanboy. His intricate and complex musicianship, clever, witty, and oftentimes tragic lyricism coupled with a sense of self-awareness and carefree whimsy had stolen my heart. So I heard rumblings a few weeks ago that Wood was retooling the Normal Album, bringing things up to speed and correcting parts of it that he felt were either lacking or possibly insubstantial. And then, out of the blue, with barely an announcement to be made, the new normal has landed on us, and I'm about to get obsessed with this one all over again. So, who exactly is Will Wood? Rumour has it that he sleeps 1 hour per day, upside down in a latex-lined coffin. He sustains himself by drinking the nectar of a single lotus flower once a month, and was inspired to take up music and performance arts after witnessing the great clown Pagliacci performing for Pope Leo XII himself within the halls of the Vatican City's immense marble bathrooms. Or he might just be some dude in his early 30s from New Jersey, I don't know. Wood has released a couple of albums under the name Will Wood and the Tapeworms, a few soundtracks, and 2 albums with his solo name on the ticket, and each has managed to act as a bold statement as to the unique blend of madness and extraordinary creativity that lies just underneath the surface. Wood is a consummate vocalist and pianist, as well as displaying considerable skills on the ukulele, but it's his compositional skills, his lyricism and approach to songwriting that makes him such an extraordinary talent. Now, I've included a few for fans of in the earlier splash screens, but the reality is quite simple. You're either gonna love Will Wood unquestionably and become slightly obsessed with his works, or you'll find the whole experience entirely too maximalist and you'll go running 100 miles in the other direction. Right, as this is a retooling of an album that's already been out for 4 years, I'm going to be spending a chunk of this section discussing, what's changed and if it's an improvement, and then I'm going to try and paint a picture for newcomers to Will Wood to see if I can convince you to get on board the hype train. The most immediate thing that struck me when listening to this 2024 edition is how much fuller, more fluid and exciting the instrumentation is across the board. The music is clearer, more defined, and a richer, more sumptuous experience overall. The piano pops harder, the saxophones scream louder, the drums thunder and roll, and every individual element feels treated with reverence and respect. On the original mix, there was a certain, shall we say, muddiness to parts of it, with Wood's vocals feeling at times drowned out, with the lyrics occasionally coming across as hard to understand. But not so much on this edit. Wood's voice is sonorous and clear, with every line hitting harder than ever before. Myself is especially snappy now, with some incredibly polished and dazzling piano runs throughout. The bass on Well Better Than the Alternative is thicker and smoother, with crystal clear theremin strings floating out across the chorus, and with some wonderful guitar lines that simply weren't that audible on the previous recording. Every track feels like it's been given a true restoration, although I do believe that Love Me Normally remains untouched due to some legal hoo-ha over the original production of this track. I don't know. Please do correct me if I'm wrong on that, though. And the result is a record that feels like it's been given the wings it is needed to soar above the mountaintops that it always deserved. Not that I'm saying the original album didn't leave a huge mark, it's just that it feels like this is the 4K upgrade over the 1080p first run. These are still the same songs that I fell in love with 4 years ago, but the sheer additional level of peripheral detail almost makes it feel like I'm listening to it for the first time all over again. But for the Willwood virgins, what's the big idea? Why is this album so good? Honestly, it's the visceral blend of emotional outbursts, the fusion of hyperpop, doo-wop, free jazz, avant-garde rock, singer-songwriter vulnerability, vaudeville aesthetic, Tim Minchin-esque comedic chops, and more besides that makes it such a compelling listen. You never know what Wood is about to do next. The sheer bravado and unexpected delivery of styles and mood makes it an absolutely enthralling listen, and the tightness of the 2024 mix really does help to accentuate every single element. This is a record designed for headphone use, you know? You will hear something new, something crazy, something completely off the wall every single time you press play, and that's on every single song. Be it the slightly Beetlejuice-esque chord progressions on the 7th track, formerly known as Black Box Warrior OK Ultra, and now comes with a stupendously long song title that I really can't be bothered listing out here. The scary, near-death metal grunts partway through the opening track of Blue Velvet, the heartfelt lyricism of Love Me Normally, or the sobering, almost jovial finality of the closing track formerly known as Memento Mori. This is an album that's not afraid to throw literally everything at you. It's not expecting everything to land on its first pass. Lord knows it's a hell of a lot to take in. But the normal album's genius is just how replayable it is. Some albums are 80-minute long, slow burn, ponderous journeys that make you really work for their rewards. The normal album is happy to be extraordinarily easy to enjoy on a surface level. A casual listen will still reveal itself as a Moorish, tongue-in-cheek form of singularly unique expressionism, but when you spend some real time with the album, you know, when you really listen to the lyricism, the complexities of the instrumentation, and how it reflects upon Wood not only as a songwriter, but as a person of intimate and sobering realities, you'll find that it's this honesty and open frankness that's made him such an icon and such a delightful person's music to follow. Honestly, I really don't have a great deal to complain about here. I mean, I've been listening to the normal album for like 4 years now, and I still think that it's one of the best albums of the decade so far, and this 2024 edit is only serving to highlight its strengths even harder. I suppose if I wanted to be realistic, though, I can understand if people don't get this record. You know, if you find it to be unnecessarily extra, overblown, pompous, and exhausting, you know, I get it. But for me, given my familiarity with the album already, and my familiarity now with Wood as an artist in the time that I've spent calling myself a fan, I can only see those previously given labels as a positive. While I do think that every track that's been remastered is an improvement over their originals, I'm not a massive fan of the included Live in Studio 2018 demos that are tacked onto the end of the album. I mean, they're fine as, you know, curio pieces, but the unpolished quality to them makes them a one listen and done inclusion for me. Also, the lack of a remaster of Love Me Normally is slightly disappointing. It's pretty jarring to go from the silky smooth, layered and extraordinary restorations of all the songs leading up to it to go right back into the exact same sounds that we had back in 2020. Now, taken in context of the original album, it's all irrelevant, as it all had that same audio quality and impact as each other. But it feels like the one rough spot on a freshly shaved head that you'd otherwise missed on the overall experience of the remaster. Which is honestly a shame, as it's easily one of Wood's best overall songs. All said and done though, despite any criticisms I've got going on here, sometimes I just need music like this. Music that holds nothing back and unleashes the full fury and passions of the artist in a fashion that's as overwhelming as it is obtuse. Now, I'm not expecting everyone watching this video to become a convert to the Church of Wee Woo, but I'd still actively encourage everyone listening in to at least try one sip of the Kool-Aid.
But the tide rolls in, so who knows? Oh well, and a little I did, and he never hurt nobody.
So, what else can I say about Will Wood's 2024 remaster of the normal album? Yeah, I mentioned a little earlier in the video that I considered the original record to be one of the best releases of the 2020s so far, and my stance has only really been enhanced by this retooling of the record. For as much as I do adore In Case I Make It, and I will still champion it as the best album of 2022, the normal album hits a little bit harder than even that outstanding release. This is Wood at his most lunatic. There's a sense of mania and freneticism about the whole experience that's not been duplicated or even remotely emulated by any other modern artist that I can think of. I was very excited when I heard that Will Wood was doing this remaster, as I wasn't making YouTube videos 4 years ago, and I've honestly just been dying for an excuse to word vomit about this record, and believe me when I tell you that I've had to rein myself in on this one. As honestly, I'm trying not to go over a particular length with these things, but man oh man did this release push me on that self-imposed limitation. Now, obviously, my recommendation here is to grab like 1,000 physical copies of this record, if it ever gets pressed at all. It is currently digital only, but you can bet your bottom dollar that Muggins here will be first in line if it ever does get a physical release. This is all, of course, guys, just my opinion, so if you've loved or hated this remaster of the normal album, please talk to me about your experiences with the record in the comments down below. Please do drop me a thumbs up if you've liked the video. Please do tell your friends all about little old me, and please do consider subscribing to the channel if you've been enjoying my content so far. But until next time, guys, as always, keep your rhyme signatures pretty odd.